Good evening, welcome to my channel. Thank you everyone who has been supporting my channel and those who have subscribed, those who have been sharing my videos, those who are campaigning to promote the video. We are small, we are 4 weeks old as a project, so it's been good going. Our channel has been here for 10 years, but inactive, and we have been active for 4 weeks, for 1 month now, and we've got getting a lot of feedback. Thank you for giving feedback, especially if you have been giving positive feedback. But give whatever feedback you can. um it's much easier to deal with positive feedback, but every feedback actually helps, especially if it is objective, especially if it serves a positive purpose. I mean, if it is relevant, do your best and participate. Participation is so important. This channel is to promote free speech, and I believe that the freedom of speech is probably, in the modern democracy, is becoming the number one in importance. And it's good for people to realize this freedom of speech is so important. And take every opportunity you get to speak. And we have so many videos now. If you watch this one, try and watch the others. And please subscribe to the channel to help the channel to grow. And if the subscription is good, then we are going to grow. And if we have grown, we are going to be visible. We are going to do better things. If you need something specific in this channel, please leave a comment below. And if you have ideas, I'm actually waiting for equipment to um do it video conferencing, and also hopefully with the improvement in our videoing equipment. It seems like forever, but believe me or not, we are making progress. It's slow, and as soon as we are stronger and performing better, we are going to be interviewing the individuals with specialist knowledge in different areas. We are talking about the cost of living. We have been talking about the cost of living because this is a national and global crisis. It's happening in the UK. I'm in the UK, in London, and the UK government is giving a lot of help. In the rest of the video I've been showing, in case you miss them, I've actually pointed to where help might be obtained. For example, if you visit the government website, and big charities in the UK, like Citizen Advice, or other in your local authority, you can actually find in their website, because everything is now going online. People need to learn how to use computer. The elderly especially are actually lagging behind on the matter of technology, which is actually at the forefront of operating tasks and living a life so important. Young people are actually doing much better, though there are also restrictions for young people, because most young people actually are, are very poor. They may not realize that you're living with your parents, and if you're 16, and if you are probably younger, between 12, 17, I'm not sure 17-year-olds are allowed on the social media. I'm not sure about that. Leave a comment below if you think children below 18, if you think children really, children up to 17 years, leave a comment below if you think they are legally allowed to participate on the YouTube. They probably are not. I'm not sure about that. Because 18-year-olds are actually allowed. They are still children. Some of them are children, but 18-year-old legally they are adult now. If you are 18, you are an adult. But if you are still getting child benefit, and which is, in my opinion, child benefit is not enough. And if your parents is not rich, if your parents work for a living, if your parents Even if your parent is a middle class, even if your parent is doing really a nice job, um, it's, she or she your parent, maybe you are a child of a single parent, single mother, normally single mother, or maybe both your parents are working and they're probably earning decent money. If they don't manage their money, their finances well, the family might be struggling financially, and it's normally important that people look after their finances, manage them effectively. Uh, so easy to say to people, buy what you need, but again, people do what they want, do what they want with their money, and that is okay. And but there's a cost of living going on. Mostly between 10 and 20% of people at the bottom of the income equation, if you like, people who are really on really low income, who have next to no savings at all. These are the people who always suffer the cost of living impact the most. And also we have the credit economy, which actually provide credit for people, and believe it or not, even multimillionaires benefit from the credit economy. The millionaires have options. They can borrow if they want to. But if you are poor or middle class, then you probably have very limited choice. Although if you are very poor, you don't get credit anyway. You might get some credit, but at some point, credit debts keep piling up, and once you seem not to be able to pay back, then the credit inflow will begin to trickle, come to a trickle and actually stop. Then you begin to face indebtedness, and creditors will always want their money back, and they're going to be coming to make sure you give their money back. And I keep telling people I will be talking about debt specifically. I will be using some materials going forward. Said it before, because with the cost of living, managing debt is very important. Debt and credit actually impact significantly on income. And when it comes to issue of income maximization, you're going to need to look after your money, learn whatever skill, budgeting, and actually controlling your self and your money. And I would like to say, is these little things, bits and pieces we used to take for granted as people. Now we are faced with the cost of living. We will need to pay more attention, more closely, and be your best in your managing finances, and be your most diligent in maximizing your income. And there are some people already doing 3 to 4 jobs, and it works well for you to do that. And make sure you work as hard as you can, and have as much of a rest as much as you can from work. If you want to work harder and harder and harder, it's your choice. But look after yourself. Your health, your mental health, your physical health. And if you need to take a break, take a break. I want to say to people during the cost of living crisis, never give up hope, and look after yourself. Meet with people you like. Yeah, your best friends. Your friends are always there to make you happy. And happiness is a form of medicine to help you with mental health. And and right now there are statistics showing young people. The young people is the number. Suicide is now the number one killer of young people in Britain, and that is really very very sad. Something I believe the government can pay attention to. Although elsewhere in these videos, I have seen the government is now reluctant to help those who cannot help themselves. So if you're a young person, if you're a child, maybe a child is comprising, let's say practically, in practical terms, if you're 10 years, start thinking of, doing some little help with your parents. If you like cleaning the house, learn it from your mom or dad. If you like cooking, help in to make breakfast, and whatever chore, house chore you can contribute to, develop an habit of responsibility. Because in the last video I talked about human rights, your individual liberty, your right, which is what you get with the modern society. It also means, sorry, it also means you are actually beginning to get out of the grip of the state. Because, when people ask for freedom, they are asking to be free from authorities. And the first authority is actually your parents and your teachers. If you're a child, if you're a young person, your parents are the first authority you meet. In the church, you get authorities there, and in school, from nursery up to secondary, up to university, you get authorities there. On the streets, the police, the if you commit a crime, you get more authority in jail. If you're in prison, there are authorities everywhere. So normally the government is the ultimate authority. Leave a comment below what you think of King Charles III. God save the King. And if you love the royal family, pray for the royal family, bless them. But they are a symbol of authority in this country. They symbolize rule, and the government actually rule the country in the name of the king, in the name of the monarchy in the UK, and also across the globe where there are symbols of authority. Maybe in America you have a republican system, you have authority there, with the government and with all the system of authority. The world is now changing from authoritarianism, whatever that is. I use that word with care because it's a terminology. It may not mean authority necessarily, but give you a picture of if there are authorities. Normally, the more authority you have, the more authoritarianism you get, especially under the rule of law. Because judges are a good example of authorities. If you have been to court, try and go to court. If you haven't been to court of law, I mean to say, there are different types of courts. The church is a type of court, and the authority there. The parliament in the UK is a type of court, and the court of the palace, where the royal family, the king and the royalties live. These are actually courts of regency, of palace, and different types of courts. So court of law, if you go there, you'll find the judge, and if you misbehave in the court, the judge has certain powers in certain circumstances where the judge can actually jail you very quickly. So if you go to court, you have to really behave. So you see, the idea of freedom is actually freedom from authorities, and we love our freedom as the British people and as the people of the world, because I will talk about globalization here. in the context of we are in, with reference to the cost of living. I said in the other video that was a bold statement I made that globalization has been responsible significantly for the cost of living in the UK and also across the globe. I've also talked of capitalism, which has been responsible for the closing down of the public sector. Because you see, you cannot run capitalism and socialism together. We used to talk about mixed economics. I still think it could work, but it's no longer allowed. What we have decided as the globe is to actually privatize everything. And that means closing down, literally closing down the public sector. Now, what you see remaining now of the public sector is the remnant, is what remains. It's just a trickle now remaining. There's a cleanup going on by the government, by relevant authority, the business empires of the world or Britain. The private sector has closed down. Within the next 50 to 100 years, you will not see it. And going forward as well, like I said in the other video, if you have watched the other video and if you are watching this, pay attention to technology. 3D printers, nanotechnology, robotics, things like artificial intelligence, and many, many more. So technology is brilliant. The government is investing in technology. It's going to improve the way we live, and it's going to take over running society and the economies. And we are going to lose all our jobs. Technology will be intelligent, will be versatile. Robots will be everywhere. I've tried to explain this in the other video. Do a research, read, and go to YouTube. Watch this YouTube as much as you like. If you feel you need to look for information elsewhere, there are tons and tons and tons of YouTubes. You go and learn as much as you can. And if you have to come back, come with knowledge and share it with us. And like I said before, I will be hopefully getting some means of doing video conferencing, and then we're going to be engaging more people. But at the moment, leave a comment below and let me know what your thoughts are. And if you want to talk of the cost of living in a different way, let me know. Right now, I'm actually looking at the cost of living. I'm looking at different factors relating to cost of living. And I've talked of development generally. I've talked of also developmental development, which are called developmental economy, which is actually money and wealth, technology, society as we understand it more general. The physical element, what you can see, what you can touch, education, intellectual quotient, how intelligent you are, or how skillful you are. If you go to the supermarkets now, if you go to any shop, if you go to a car sale, anywhere they say there's something called customer service, and these people are actually trained to be nice. They are very, very nice. These are actually part of the economic system. Commercial packaging. You go there, you speak to a young lady or a young man and a gentleman, and they talk to you as if they have known you all their lives. They are so highly trained to make you feel at home in the supermarket, and in wherever you find them, you feel really, really good. And there are also a type of music they put in the shops. I think these are actually scientific, and it has to do with your mind. It just makes you feel good in the shop. Makes you feel really excited and not really thinking of leaving the shop, and you wanting to really remain in the shop. and buy more, and that is something called consumerism. Some people don't like it. I've been looking at consumerism yesterday in terms of globalization. There are people who actually set up organization to oppose consumerism because they I don't know what they think about consumerism, but people are free to consume as much as they like. But the cost of living tends to restrict our freedom to consume, and sometimes it actually prevents us from accessing food at a basic level and energy for at least for the 10 and 20% of the poorest of this country. But like I said before, if you are working for a living, especially if you're middle class, means that about 50% of the population in this country, you are actually poor. Because if anything happens of a crisis, you will actually lose everything almost immediately. But also, if you're rich, that's why now the focus of the government is actually to make sure there is economic stability in this country, and things like inflation, interest rates, growth. This is actually the focus. The market is quite sensitive. The market can collapse within 24 hours, and we will really be in serious trouble if the economy collapses. This is something we don't want to see. We don't want to see panic. We don't see crisis, especially if crisis so dangerous, so serious as to impact very seriously on our economy. Our economy at this time is our livelihood, whether you're rich or poor. So we need a cultural economy to actually secure our future. That is a term I've coined. Bless me if you want to, and if you think it is nonsense, if you think somebody else was already using cultural economy, bless them. I never heard of it. I just thought it. I thought that I thought it held, and I think it works very well because it talks about respect, things you already know. It's nothing new. I just coined a terminology to operate those values, those thinking, those train of thoughts, and actually to package an approach, our basic value: self-respect, respect of others, respect of your property. I mean, if you have money, have respect for your money, have respect for your pets, cats, dogs. Some people actually tortoises. Tortoises are normally in water. We know turtles in whatever you're keeping. Birds, yeah, and whatever is your pet. Respect it. Look after everything, and respect others. Respect their property also. I believe respect agenda can be learned, and learning and changing the way we think is critical. It's critical. It's actually it's for our cultural economic development. We can do it because we can change. We can change the way we think. We can change about peace. We can think about peace. Focus on peace, and start thinking in a different way. If we want peace, we have to learn peace, and we have to think peace, and also speak peace to people, and behave honestly. We can be nice, but nasty inside. We can be nice on the outside. I can be looking at the camera and saying all the nice things. As soon as I stop looking at the camera, I start swearing, saying nasty things, thinking really bad things. It's like you're. I mean, you live two separate lives. The one um on the camera and the other in the dark. But I say we can be honest, we can be truthful, and living. We don't just do respect, and we don't be nice just so that people see us to be nice. but our character is really, really, really terrible. And even if we are politicians, even if we are leaders, industrial leaders, or even if we are kings or queens or princes or princesses, wherever we are, let us be genuine, let us be nice always. Even if you are on, if you are alone, be nice. That's how to develop the cultural economy I'm talking about. It's about people. People changing, becoming people of good character, people who don't pretend, people who actually don't do PR all the time, saying one thing, hypocrisy, which is actually a fail. Everybody is so nice, even in a relationship between a wife and a husband. And some people live in marriages without even knowing who their real husbands or wives are. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about because if we were if we are good as people, we wouldn't see war in Ukraine between Ukraine and and Russia. We wouldn't see wars at all. We wouldn't see people, children being killed on the street. We wouldn't see children, actually young people, committing suicide in this country. We wouldn't see social inequality, like people actually um, are people being poor in one of the richest countries in the world, Britain. I'm not saying Britain. That's an upper problem. I mean, we are a world in progress, and the U.S. is probably the most powerful country in the world, and yeah, we're doing great, and we just need to look after each other a bit more as a society, and even capitalism or not capitalism. See, all these factors, all these things I'm talking about, create issues like the cost of living. And I have argued again and again, I've really made this proposition over and over, that if you want to solve a problem, know the source of the problem before you provide solution to the problem. There could be emergency help with the government, something I'll be talking about, something I already said. Go online. A lot of things are now being online. If you can phone, there are telephone lines if you're in the UK. If not, go to your government website in your country. It's the most important website in the world. Anywhere, the government website is so important. You can learn almost anything from there. There is information there for almost everything. If you want to set up a company, go on the gov.uk. If you're in the UK, if you are America, there's a government website. Go to it. There should be information everywhere. Australia, Russia, Ukraine, in any developed country, in any Western country, in the Middle East, in Africa. There are government websites. The internet is all over the world. World Wide Web. World Wide Web. Across the globe, make use of it. You are free. The government is not your daddy. The government is not your mommy. And you have to be independent. If you're still young, if you're still with your parents, you can depend on your parents if they want you to depend on them. My advice to parents is that look after your children. Be the best parent in the world. But it's not easy. A lot of children are being taken into care in the developed world, probably in the developing world as well. But society needs to really revisit its culture and begin to do the right thing, and all the time. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or the day after. Relax. Relax about these things I'm saying. These are actually planned for the future. Beginning now. Begin the process of start putting in new type of information in your head. Start actually thinking about how to change your life, how to change the way you do things. It is no longer going to be business as usual. The cost of living is here to stay, and we are going to be working together on this channel If you are happy, feel free to access this channel. Feel free to help. I'll be talking about the cost of living. I've been talking about globalization. Then afterward, we'll be talking about maybe other things. But whatever I'm going to be talking about, even talk about family, even talk about environment, even talk about food, talk about medicine, even talk about relationship between family members, between marriage or civil partnership, whatever topic, because this channel is to discuss any topic. Whatever I'm going to be talking about, any topic, I'm going to be talking about cost of living. The title may change because now the title I'm using on my video is the cost of living in terms of one thing or another. So keep an eye, subscribe to this channel, and do your best. And the next video I'm going to stop this video here. The next one I'm going to talk about globalization in terms of the cost of living. Specifically, I've been looking at material. I've got this material from the internet. You can find material online. They're free. They're on the public domain. You can read them. You can write articles and quote them. There are different websites. You can go on the BBC, media website, government website, organizational website, business website. Some of them you pay, some of them is free. Whatever is free, use it. Be a student. The YouTube is a very good space. Do whatever you want. Different people come to do whatever they want, but because I choose to look at things in a certain way, doesn't mean you have to listen even to what I'm saying. But if you are lucky, or if you just happen to chance on this channel, then if you like something, just use it. If you don't like it, just lose it, and let me know your thoughts. And these channels, I guess I get a lot of feedback from people. A lot of people give me different feedback. A lot of people have different kind of ideas. Some people think, this channel is going to last for maybe a few days, a few weeks, or maybe the videos are going to be like a few days, a few weeks. The video is going to be as many as the YouTube a platform will allow. If the YouTube, as long as I am able to produce, or as long as I am able to handle, every time I feel like saying something, because this is actually for people to talk. And if you want to talk to me, leave a comment below. If there's a way you can actually talk, then you can talk. If there's a way you can listen to what I'm saying and then go and do something you like doing, and then wherever, let me know what you're thinking. I'm going to be talking in the next video about globalization. I will look at food security in terms of the cost of living. I think food security is really, really fundamental, because one of the things creating the cost of living is actually the price of food right now. And in terms of globalization, what is local, what is national is going global, and there's no stopping it. It could stop. I'm not saying nothing is possible, but realistically, globalization is here to stay. Marketization is also here to stay. Privatization is marketization. It also indicates freedom from the state. I've said this again and again in the previous video. The Conservative Party especially have said this. They want small government. If the government is small, which means they're reducing it, and what is being reduced eventually will disappear. So the beginning I think the government is telling you the truth, but some part of the truth the government tell you is approximate. Um, they want to be diplomatic about change, because change can be really traumatic. People can be worried about many things. They don't want to be worried about anything, and it's their responsibility to do that, to make sure the change is as peaceful and as smoothly done as possible. But the change, people have to really be aware that the change is now inevitable in the normal sense of the word, meaning nothing in life is inevitable. Our life is in our hands. We can decide do one thing or another, but globalization is here to stay unless unless you something else happen because with there's no going back. That's what I'm trying to say. If we find something else in the future to replace globalization, that is different thing. And I don't know what the future will bring. I don't know the future of humanity, because we die, we grow old and die. Although I said it of technology, medical technology. I saw it somewhere on the BBC. Um, People die mainly because of old age, and there's technology now being, I think, developed, which is expected when it starts working. There's a possibility now of slowing down aging and stopping aging, and also reversing aging. Reversing means if you are 80 years, you can be brought back to. I don't know how far they can reverse aging, but that's what I heard on the program. It's called Click. I think it's called Click. It's a BBC program. If you watch that program, leave a comment below. I heard that from Radio 4 also. Radio 4, BBC Radio 4. So listen to BBC Radio 4. For here, I watch a lot of documentaries, and technology is actually happening. And who knows? Maybe there will be something called regeneration. Regeneration means if your body fail, it can be made to function again. So say for example, if you grow old, actually if you can be if aging can be reversed, and if you are 90 years, you can be brought back to being like 40 or 30 years. That is, to me, that is actually an example of regeneration. So like if somebody shoots you in the chest and cut off your head, and your head grows back like in the movies. There are some actually wild animals. You cut off part of it, like I think they're a family of lizard. There's a type of lizard. You cut off its tail. After a few weeks, the tail will grow back. That is real. It's in nature. So that is an example of regeneration. Scientists are studying that animal to see how they can use. Because if it can happen to a lizard, there's a lizard like that. It can happen to a pig or a mouse. It can happen to I don't know. Okay, if it can happen to a human being, then that is a regeneration. So somebody shoot your head off and it grows back within seconds. That means, because people die when the body fails. That's simple as that. Your physical body fails. That's what death. They say there's a cell in your brain. There's one cell. I don't know if it's one or maybe that this a located cell in your head, which informs the whole cells to shut down if your body fails. That's how people die. That's why the doctor will always say you're brain dead. So death is actually a temporary shutdown, but in the scheme of things, your body just wastes away. This is deep, but the science is science. Is people are doing research. So we're looking at technology. I mean, I'm now looking at a mobile phone. I'm recording a video. When we began with mobile phone, we couldn't even think of cameras being in mobile. We didn't even we were not even thinking about smartphones. Now look what we have got. We can talk all over across the globe. This video potentially is going to go global. Potentially, if you look at my analytics, we are in the UK, Russia, all sorts of India, all sorts of countries are actually watching my video. May not be maybe they are not watching much. They may not be watching a lot, but they are watching. This is actually reaching. It's global. My video is global. So that is a power of technology, and how does it relate to the cost of living? Because technology, for example, can improve food technology. Can food technology can improve food production, can improve fuel production. We can have the kind of fuel. Now, my understanding is that researchers are actually in this space now, trying to use the sun. I can't explain it here because I watched it once on the TV, and I can't explain the mechanism. But it's a project now in space where scientists are trying to use they're trying to capture sun energy and turn it into normal energy being used in the household, in cars. So if they succeed, we will actually use sun energy direct, without solar panel, without any equipment. We just get it into your home for free. I don't know if it's going to be free, but I think the more advanced technology is, the freer the prospect of using free energy resources. So I believe that technology is going to get rid of the cost of living. So when I talk of technology, I have cost of living in my mind. And when I say when a crisis arises, it is an opportunity for us to look at it and try to understand why it is happening, and try to figure out how to participate, to be part of looking at the problem and also being part of the solution, beginning with our finances, managing our finances, cutting down waste. If you used to throw food away, it's probably not a good idea now to throw food away. And maybe go on to the YouTube and find out the best way to store your food. Go to the YouTube, not this one yet. Maybe we will do it in the future. Go to another YouTube and find out how to cook. Some people don't know how to cook, especially young people. And also, some adults also haven't. They don't really know how to cook very well. How do you? I look at TV cooks like Jimmy Oliver or all the others. How to use leftover. How to cook breakfast, for example. How to cook a stove. How to actually use frozen food to taste as if it is fresh. How you can make things here and there, recipe here and there. How you can, where to find. You can go online and find out, especially YouTube. Find out where to find affordable food. Maybe certain stores. Maybe if you have a car, you can maybe buy from bigger stores and things like that. And little things which we used to take for granted. How do you? Because I think the energy company is trying to put smart meters. I don't know how they're going to do it, because my understanding, I'm not really sure. The government, I don't know if it is illegal to force people to impose smart meter on people in the UK. Leave a comment below and let me know. But I have seen lot of government policy on everything almost. It's unclear. Unclear. There are so many loopholes. I don't know if it is deliberate or just the thing is so complicated. And I think it's not going to surprise me if energy companies exploit those loopholes, not ambiguity in policy, in policy, writing, or even the way it is drafted, to be honest. And we'll be looking. I mean, if you can visit the government website and look at things like energy cap, which is actually the flagship policy on the cost of living from the government. Apart from things like the food bank, apart from policies sending people into library, public library, sending people into wherever, um, wherever they're sending people to town halls. I mean, people want to go there, they can go, but the people can go there if they want to. I don't know where else the government is going to start sending people. Because, like I said before, the government is no longer investing in public sector. So, most of the public services now the money is being channeled through private companies. Unfortunately, private companies are investing most of this money in infrastructure and capital. That's the problem with leveling up. Leveling up is mostly capital investment using government money to enrich private companies, mainly big private companies. We have seen it with COVID-19. We have seen it with face mask. Our government was pouring money, millions, maybe hundreds of millions, perhaps also billions of pounds to private companies, public money being given to private companies, and it's not being accounted for. The government cannot account for public money given to private company because the privatization does not include government regulation, and government doesn't want to regulate private companies. That's what freedom is about. Privatization means freedom, and you cannot privatize a private company. You cannot privatize the economy and turn around and say, I want to regulate it. Privatization means the state is out. You don't want the state to interfere with the world. Individuals are free, private companies are free. That means no regulation. So whatever money is given, the private company can do whatever they like with it. Nobody is going to know. There cannot be transparency. Simple as that. And I'm not saying if there was regulation, there was going to be perfect transparency. They're going to say they are transparent because that is what everybody says. But in practice, I don't see because there are all sorts of contradictions within government policy, within corporate policies. They're supposed to protect their businesses, information protection, issues of cybersecurity. That means the government is protective. Corporate governance is protective of their information, their resources. Issue of cybersecurity, probably I said it in terms of GDPR. Personal data has to be protected. So there's a lot of instrument of preventing transparency. Balancing all this in practice means private companies, especially big ones, cannot be inspected. They do whatever they like, with or without public money. They do whatever they like. You don't know what they do. We don't even have the time because we are always thinking about food and energy. We think of work. No rest for the weekend. I mean, if you're poor in this country, you don't rest. You have to be working all the time. If you don't work, you have to go and look for money from the government, and they don't leave you rest. The government never give you rest. If you're on benefit, you're in a lot of trouble. And it's the worst thing to do is actually to be in government benefit. I can tell you this. A lot of help is being given to a private company, energy company, but it's almost impossible to get it. But do your best and get it. But the best thing is actually, if you have a job, do your best to keep it. Work and work and work. Save and save and save. If you can invest in something, it doesn't matter how little it is, as long as you make profit. If you can invest in property, do so. If you can invest in as little as, maybe, I don't know what. Just think of something. If you like doing things with your hands, maybe sewing, maybe playing even music instrument. If you learn online, maybe get a YouTube channel. You can learn how to play piano. You can learn how to. I say this, but there is always a way. I mean, if you are an expert on playing piano or guitar or music instrument, you can train your friends and maybe families. They'll pay you some money because they're your friends. They like you, and they probably find it easy to teach them. Or dancing, if you like dancing, learn how to dance from wherever. Really, YouTube is a good place to learn. Get this video, and wherever there are training videos, go and get it. Learn, I was say how to cook. You can learn how to do exercise. Probably don't have to go to the gym. Learn how to swim, and just improve your wellness, your health. But you can also make money from it. As long as you can get customers, you can train them. You can do whatever you like. You never know what will work and what might not work. You can start a training program if you have skills. You can train people how to cook online. You can actually set up a YouTube channel if you like cooking. You can set up a YouTube channel and teach people how to cook and make you happy. That is fine. I mean, if you can make money from it, that is fine. If you know gardening, if you know how to plant, grow food, teach people how to grow their own food in their gardens. Help them. I mean, if they can pay you even only £5, £10 an hour, why not? And do something as little, maximize your income. It doesn't have to be money. It can be just the satisfaction of doing something if it makes you happy. If working in the garden, for example, make you happy, because you talk about wellness, like complementary medicine, like social prescribing, medical health support, to deal with depression, to deal with isolation, to deal with anxiety, and everywhere you go now to speak to people because of the cost of living. We haven't rested from lockdown, and lockdown created a lot of mental health issues, and we haven't even rested, and people are suffering in Ukraine and in Russia, to be honest, in Poland, places surrounding Ukraine. People are really suffering, and we didn't think we were going to be suffer because of Ukraine. um, I think Ukraine and war is a trigger, but I think also COVID-19. I think Brexit in the UK. The government may say one thing or another, but all these things are connected to build into what we now see as the cost of living has been building up years for years for years for years. It has been brewing. If we are lucky, it will go down, but it's not going away. It's a major incident is going to be there, and we are going to have to start dealing with unemployment issues, retirement issues. Pension may change at any time. Who would have thought about? I think it was 2018. The pension policy changed dramatically. The pensioners became poorer. You have to now work 10 years before you get any pension in the UK. 10 years paying national insurance, and you should retire at 55. Now you have to wait until you're 66, I think. 66 retirement age. And then you can get your state pension. If you didn't work enough, even if you work, you may not get the full state pension. And the state pension amount is not enough. It's so low. These are all the problem brewing. They're brewing for one reason. The public sector is closing down. It has already closed down. What remains will be closing down gradually. We don't want to do something radical. We don't want people to be in shock overnight, shocking everything. We just take it piece by piece, but at policy level, at objective level, it's closed. But also in practical level, most of the public sector is now. I think if anything is left, is probably 10% or even 15. Probably, let's be generous, 20% is left, and that is nothing. And small and medium businesses are also closing down. We are going to be left with big businesses, and big business will also close down. Then technology is going to take over. Then we are going to be happy because technology, when it takes over from big corporations, it will run the country. The economy will shut down because if you don't sell and buy, if there's no need for money exchange of goods and services, that is the meaning of economics, of economy. So we shut down. We are left with wealth. You access wealth at will. That is in the future, maybe 100 years from now. But things will get better with technology, theoretically. Stopping this video here. It's so nice to talk to you. Please subscribe, support this channel, leave a comment. See you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.